It is February 10th, 2023, and this week in Lansing we had the executive budget recommendation. This is when the governor comes in and presents to the legislature her plan, how she wants to run the state for the next year. It was an interesting presentation. It was probably an hour and 15 minutes, hour and a half long. The state budget director went through about maybe a 70-page slide, so there was a lot of information. I kind of want to go through what I think was the biggest takeaway from the whole thing. If you think about it, at the beginning of this term, we had a combined fund balance of general fund and school aid fund of about $9.1 billion. That is, it's hard to even put that in perspective because it's just unheard of. It's a historic amount of money. Our entire general fund budget for the year is roughly about $10 billion. So, I mean, it's just a massive amount of money. So I'm going to put up this chart here, and what you can see is we have, before we started doing any spending this year, about a month ago, we had a balance combined general fund and school aid fund of about $9.1 billion. So after the governor's proposal, how much do we have? About 250 million. Now, when you get into the millions and billions, it's hard to keep things in perspective because they're both very, very big numbers. But I actually can't even believe this. I shouldn't be surprised, but I am. After the governor's recommended budget, if it were to go into effect, we would have spent down 97% of our savings, 97% of our budget surplus. That is completely irresponsible. I don't know anybody who would do that for their own personal finances unless it was an absolute emergency where they spend down all of their budget surplus. So it's an interesting strategy. I even read a Detroit Free Press article, which in no way, shape, or form is usually at all negative toward any left-leaning proposals. But even they pointed out there's only $15 million of GF left after the budget recommendation. Is that really a good idea? That was kind of the general thesis of the article. I would agree with them. The parallels of the last decade are pretty staggering. I think at the end of 2010, when former Governor Granholm left office, I think there was $2 million left in our bank account. And the idea that at the end of this year, if this budget were to be put in place, we'd have 15 million left. It's just, it goes without saying the parallels are pretty striking. So clearly I have a different idea of how we should be approaching this year. I think we should be saving and paying down debt. And yes, was there good things in the budget? Yeah, there is, of course. I mean, I think we have some running room. I'm not saying we shouldn't be spending any money. I want to increase funding for schools as well, and I want to make sure we put it in the areas where there's the greatest need and we can help our kids, to the greatest extent possible. So, it wasn't entirely bad, but the entire strategy itself of just spending all of our money was wildly irresponsible. And, I'm on the Appropriations Committee. I'm the minority vice chair of several committees. I'm on all the school aid related committees. So, I hope to be able to provide positive feedback and make, influence decisions when I can. So that was the big update this week from Lansing. Bit of a surprise. Shouldn't have been. Should have realized that the Democrats would want to spend all our money at once because they're so excited to change the world and create a utopian society. However, I think at the end of the day, as I've said in previous weeks, we're probably going to end up like those who win the lottery, and a few years after they get all the money, they're going to look back and wonder, where did it all go? So that being said, appreciate everyone's time, and thank you, and God bless.